Alright guys, let's talk about OMNI Network for the first time on this channel. Now I almost made some videos where you see these long wicks, and we're getting a long wick right now. It's not a huge candle, but it's one of the better pumpers today so far, and I've decided to take a look at this. Now, this was a launch pool project way back in April of 2024. I need to show you my chart here. This is a list of all the launch pool and mega drop projects that I have been involved with since December 18th of 2023 when all of this started. Now, OMNI was one of these first projects, and I sold it. You can see the price I sold, $50.22. I made $105 that day on April 17th. So basically, that is when it launched. I sold it just a minute after it opened in Binance. And yeah, I mean, I can go back. We can show you. Let me put this on a weekly chart because it'd be a little bit easier to show you this. But it has a super long wick from that first day, and basically this is where I sold it, about where my cursor is. So not a bad sell considering what happened to it. And if I would have held it all the way down, basically at the bottom it was, I think, this candle right here. And the low was $1.37. So can you imagine you hold just two OMNI when you have about $105? I think it went up to about $55 that day too. And I was trying to sell it and I couldn't for some reason, but I eventually managed to sell it at $50. And unfortunately I didn't catch it at the top though. But yeah, this one struggled, guys. And this is why I tell people, do not FOMO when it comes to launch pool projects. Now, before I go a little farther in this video, guys, you can claim some bonuses on BitTrue, which is a sponsor of the video today, and you can claim up to $1,100 in cash bonuses. You have 10 days to do this, guys. So I'm going to put all this information down below in the description, so please check that out. And if you sign up through me, of course, I do get some commission, guys, but it's probably just pennies, of course. But BitTrue is one of my favorite exchanges. They do have some good staking here, and they do have their own coin as well, the BitTrue token. So check that out. I do have some of that myself, and yeah. Now jumping back over to the OMNI chart here, we can see that we did find support here last week at about $3, and it did get a little bit of a bounce so far. But the next resistance is up at about $4.82. You have $6.41 as resistance before we can get out of this Fibonacci. So if we get out of the Fibonacci, that's going to be above about $7.20. Now also you can see we did break out of this trend line. This was a long trend line. Let's go back basically to the beginning. And you can see it did hit in December of 24, couldn't break it. And I can zoom in a little bit more for you guys. It got rejected in the beginning of July as well, rejected in, let's say, the end of July, and then finally that last week of July, early August, punched through. So I do think OMNI now has bottomed. This probably isn't a bad project. I've seen some stuff about it. A lot of people were saying that this project is going to $100 or more. Now, I don't know about $100. I don't even know about its all-time high because that was really high, honestly. But I do think this could go very high. Checking out the volume profile here, we are well above the point of control here at about $2.13. That's that white line right there, guys. We are sitting in this second candle. We're at the bottom of it, though, trying to push through. Now, if we can get above about, let's just say about $5.65, then we will have pushed through the two largest candles of volume, and that's a good thing. Now, will be a little bit easier to go up to about $7.90, and then we do kind of have a little bit of a speed bump here. But after about, let's say, $10.15, it gets really much easier to go up. Checking out the RSI and stochastic here. The stochastic looks like it wants to cross back to the upside here. That blue line is probably going to cross this red line on a weekly time frame. Probably this week, I would say. RSI is almost as high as it's ever been, and it's pointed to the upside. It's right in the middle, so plenty of room to run. So this actually looks okay in my opinion. Now, the daily time frame, a little bit overheated, unfortunately, here on stochastic, and about to probably cross to the downside. RSI, though, is pointed pretty heavily to the upside. Now, If we go to the 4-hour time frame, basically the blue line is about, well, it's actually already crossed the red line to the downside, but it's coming out of this overheated territory. RSI is kind of flirting with being overheated, so we do kind of have mixed signals here, I would say, although they are in neutral territory. Now, the 1-hour time frame coming down pretty heavily here on the stochastic, and RSI a little bit flat, maybe slightly pointed up here. So again, kind of a mixed signal, but we're in neutral territory. Now, the 15-minute time frame crossed to the downside on stochastic, RSI pointed to the upside. So again, mixed signal, but in neutral territory. Let's get rid of these and put this at least on a 4-hour time frame and take another look, guys. I would say this isn't going to get up to $4.82 where you see that next resistance. Not today, at least. There's probably going to have to be some news, really, I would say. And let's put this on a daily time frame. I would get really bullish on this if you can close a daily candle above this point right here. Let's just say $5.15. That's where we really need to close. Maybe a little bit higher if we consider this area over here. Let's say $5.30. That might be a little bit better. That would take out this whole trading range that it's been in since about February. So, still pretty far from that, unfortunately, at $3.70. But guys, it can happen. You know, we had these long wicks to the upside, and it could have easily have stuck up here and made its way on up, but it didn't. So, this is a new project, like I said, fairly new, you know, from April of 2024. So again, it still doesn't have a year under its belt, but I would say it has bottomed. Now, one more indicator to consider quickly here is the MACD, and we can see that we do have some light green candles, but the momentum here is still up. So I do believe this is probably going to swing more back to the upside here and probably start to print some darker green candles, at least on a weekly time frame. That's just my suspicion. Now, the daily time frame, starting to print some green candles once again, like here. We're just getting out of this red period, basically. The blue line has just crossed the red line to the upside. So yeah, guys, I think the momentum here is up. This is number 401 token here, and why I'm so bullish is there's only 39 million of this token circulating, and the max supply is 100 million. That's amazing. Now, if this is a good project like a lot of people talked about in the past, that is, you know, the tokenomics are wow. It's one of the best I've ever seen. Now, you can check out the website and their community here on CoinGecko. They do have Twitter, Discord, Telegram. The white paper is here. Check that out before you decide to invest, of course. Now, all-time low, like I told you, was $1.37 about 2 months ago. So if you picked it up there, I do think you're going to make a lot of money. All-time high, it says $53, but I remember seeing about $55. This may be on a closing basis, though. So it's sitting about 93% down. Now, like I said, I don't know if it's going to make it back to its all-time high. Probably pretty difficult, I would say. But the tokenomics here, 100 million. You know, if people are crazy about this project, it will fly. Bitcoin, on the other hand, is struggling with 114, basically. As you can see, we do have a little wick above this weekly resistance as it is at the moment. However, it's only about 80 bucks more, and then we get above this. Now, you can see we did get above 112,450, and we have struggled this for quite some time, guys. So, and also it was really good support back here. So this is a very significant line to break and hold. So that would be, you know, my goal at least for today. But it would be nice to get above this line too. And it looks like the pressure is still pushing to the upside so far. Now here's another good thing, guys. The CME gap is a little bit smaller. So we can, you know, close this gap a little bit. I'm not going to do that right now. I just wanted to show you that this candle has actually gotten into the gap and it is a little bit smaller. Now I haven't measured it, but it's definitely not $2,600 anymore. If I had to estimate, it's probably about 2,000, maybe 2,100 or 2,200 bucks. Now, if we go to Ethereum, Ethereum is doing well, but it's struggling with this daily resistance. So 44.19 at the moment is providing resistance, but we did get a good bounce off 4,300. I'm really tired of seeing 4,300. We keep hitting it, and the more we hit that, the less it's going to support us. Total market cap is pressing up against 3.9 trillion once again. So yesterday, you can see what happened, guys. I think I made the video and we were right up here at like 3.89 or something, and we were pressing up against 3.9 almost, and basically we got a red candle. So not too good yesterday, but today we are getting a little bit of a push. Now, total market cap excluding Bitcoin, once again, we are breaking out. See what happened again yesterday? It actually didn't even break out of the flag. So today we're breaking out. We're actually getting above 1.62 trillion at the moment. We're just slightly above that, so don't celebrate just yet. But if we can at least hold this candle on the daily, I think we can start to say that we probably have broken out once and for all from this flag pattern. Now, there is a 1.71 trillion resistance on a monthly time frame still above us, and the target of this is at 1.75 trillion. Bitcoin dominance getting a little bit of a bounce today, not too much though. I think I made an X post about this earlier, and I showed it where it was breaking under 58.12. Maybe it will get a little bit of a green bounce here today, but still, look at the last, actually 4 out of 5 days. Not bad. So I do think maybe it gets a little bit of a bounce, but it's nothing really to worry about. Now, the USDT dominance, people are putting their money back into crypto. That's a good thing. We're slightly above 4.31%. We do need to break this. This is a weekly support though, so we need to seal that weekly candle under this line. And then we actually got to get back below this trend line. And then 3.8% is the next support. Now, the altcoin season index stands at a 67 right now. I did make an X post this morning though, and you can see it was a 71 when I posted. So we have cooled down slightly, but still not too bad. Now, liquidation heat map, 250 million have been wrecked in the last 24 hours. I'm actually surprised that's not much higher. So, if you're longing or shorting, be careful at this point in time. We do have a lot of macroeconomic data coming out. And speaking of that, guys, today we had perfect PPI. It was well below expectations. Now, tomorrow, CPI, get ready for that. That is probably, one of the most important pieces of data that we need for this. So at the moment, actually, let's refresh this real quick because I did refresh it before the video. But yeah, okay, so 92% chance we're only going to get a 1/4 point cut, and still a 7.9% chance that we're only going to get a 1/2 point cut. But CPI will actually probably sway things, a little bit more. If it's good, probably more in the direction of the 3.75 to 4 direction. Looking at the bull market peak indicators, sell at the top, we're still 0 from 30 that have been hit. Still 100% hold, guys. If we go through the progress here, I don't think there's anything above 90%. So we have 89.34, 88.39, 87 was there. So yeah, there is nothing above 90% at the moment, but it's still 0 from 30 that have been hit. And the best indicator, in my opinion, is the Pi Cycle Top indicator. Still hasn't crossed, guys, so do not worry. Now, the inflation from Truflation, it actually has gone up, which is kind of strange. When we have PPI that went way down. So we have 2.04%, but this is about what the Fed wants to see. So, they don't go by Truflation, unfortunately, and they go by CPI, PPI, and all these other numbers. Crypto Bubbles is green today, a little bit red though in the last hour, unfortunately, but let's put this back on the day. The week, month, and year are also green, so that's good to see. Now, Coinondo has 3 deals here for Omni, so you have Binance, HTX, and XT.com. But guys, don't put your coins in XT.com. They actually stole my Casper, and they won't give it back, and they want to charge me about $100 or $200 to get about $50 of Casper back. So I don't recommend XT, and until they give me back my money, I will keep saying this on my videos. Anyways, guys, like I said, like, subscribe, activate the bell, check out those links that I have in the description below. And like I said, check out BitTrue. It is the sponsor of this video. And guys, I really appreciate all your support. We're pushing 1,600 subscribers. And guys, I'll see you in the next one.